Good evening to the 3CW faithful. That time of year is upon us, End of Days is here, and I am your host, the creator of M3TV, Marcus Johnson. The mid-season finale, the 10th annual installment of 3CW End of Days is upon us, and it will be one for the ages. The superstars of 3CW have many scores to settle, and they will not wait any longer. And tonight, things will kick off with the 10th annual Women's Classic Battle Royale match, just as it pretty much does every year, where the winner earns a shot at the 3CW Women's Championship later on this evening. This particular match has had some heavy hitters in the women's division that come a long way to be victorious, for the likes of Sora Lynn Johnson, who currently holds the Women's WWE Championship in her hands right now, has a big match later on tonight. And let's not forget Miss Royale herself, the Snow Queen, Cassidy Russo, who has won not one, not two, but three back-to-back seasons, three back-to-back Royales. Quite impressive. This match holds a very distinguished reputation of being one of the toughest ones to beat. And this year is probably the toughest one yet, as I'm being told. 8 women's superstars will compete in this year's Battle Royale match for the honors. And it's going to be quite a battle for supremacy in the women's division tonight. All for a shot at the top of the food chain. Mackenzie, the current 3CW Women's Champion, who has held a hell of a year so far leading up to this mid-season finale. Champion is very dominant. Champion is very extremely skilled. And it's the final test for whoever comes away victorious from the Women's Classic tonight. Next up, we have the 3CW World Championship on the line as the brash and cocky champion Scott Daniels looks to put away Gio Van Dam and prove that he is the top dog, primed for greatness as the quote, future uncrowned champion. His words, not ours. As we know, the 3CW World Championship is a major milestone for any up-and-comer in 3CW to say, hey, I'm ready for the big time, baby. It's the last stepping stone in the World Heavyweight Championship pursuits in 3CW, whether that's the 3CW Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship, or the WWE Championship. It's Gio and Scott who has been embroiled in this battle for months on end, going all the way back to Scott Daniels' debut at the 10th anniversary show back in January, where he burst on the scene and he hit the upset button on Gio, quickly becoming the world champion. He has had a tenuous hold on the championship ever since, quickly bonding with Davis Taylor, son of the boss, to be able to keep a stranglehold over the division and the championship belt itself. We all know that Davis is never far behind when it comes to a Scott Daniels match, but Scott outright did blame Davis for allowing Gio to even get through to him at End of Days for this match in the first place, when Davis lost a match to Gio back at World Warfare earlier this year. We saw a little fragment in the solid friendship of Davis and Scott, otherwise known as the Golden. They have since mended their relationship and is laser focused on coming away with the End of Days win. Speaking with Davis Taylor earlier today, he had this to say, and I quote, "To move on to bigger and better opponents is the name of the game, and that's exactly what we intend to do after this is all said and done. Who knows? Maybe we answer the open challenge from the tag team champions later tonight." High stakes roll the night as the Nova Corps put their newly won 3CW World Tag Team Championships on the line in a winner-take-all match. But that also means that Mile 7 and Interstellar have to put the 3CW Championship on the line as well. So this would be for both the 3CW World Tag Team Championships and the 3CW Championship. This rivalry has been put in the fast lane ever since the call to arms happened out of nowhere at 3CW 10th anniversary, after Cassidy dispatched of Eddie Gutierrez Jr. in dramatic fashion, causing him injury. Call to arms troops filled our screens, and Mile 7 appeared out of nowhere to claim his right as the then 3CW Warrior Champion for a title shot immediately. Mile 7 dispatched to Cassidy to become the 53rd 3CW champion, and the fight was on. Shane Buchanan and Kira Michinoku became fully aware that they had to retaliate, and did they ever. The war was on, and back and forth for months. pitting Killian Chase, Nick Jericho into some very awkward positions, up to and including losing their World Tag Team Championships to the Nova Corps in highly dramatic fashion. We still can't even tell you what that was exactly, what Shane put them through. Shane went to a dark, dark place, and we haven't seen anything like it in 3CW ever. Ryan Daniels did inform us, however, that this was to be a straight-up match. Straight up affair, no tricks, no mind games, fair fight, or they, the Nova Corps, will be stripped of the 3CW World Tag Team Championships. Possession is 2/3 the law, am I right? And in the 3CW's case, it's all law, baby. This is absolutely the case with the 3CW Resurgence contract. If you win that match, it's best to keep your head on the swivel and make sure no one steals it from you. Unfortunately, this is just recently the case and the fate of one Lucas Van Dusen, whom of which we offer our well wishes and sincere speedy recovery wishes to him to get back to 3CW quite soon. Whose fault was this heinous attack? Of course, it was the current WWE Champion, Jeff Lynne. His fault entirely for this heinous misdeed. Not to mention the brothers were igniting as well as within the confines of one match, starting all the way back at 3CW's 10th anniversary show. When the champion at that time, Akira McKenzie, had agreed to put his WWE Championship on the line against a whole lot. It was Yuki Kim-Win that turned his back on his brother Taki, costing him the WWE Championship in the process. Then he started to heat up in that gauntlet match at 3CW Genesis, where Yuki would maliciously avoid confrontation with his brother, getting himself disqualified in the opening gauntlet match against Ryu Funayuku. But that didn't stop Taki from getting his hands on Yuki for a little retribution later that night. We all witnessed the return of Riku Lin that night as well, knocking out his younger brother Jeff Lynne in his locker room to take his place in the gauntlet. Riku would then go on to win the WWE Championship in that same match. But they say turnabout is fair play. And boy, was it ever apparent at 3CW World Warfare. It was then where Jeff Lynne had used a stolen Resurgence contract to steal the championship away from Riku. A full World Legacy tournament later, and another screwjob from Yuki, who is now the #1 contender after his victory over Taki at World Warfare, prompted our boss to make a power play. So tonight, for the title, it is Jeff Lynne defending the WWE Championship against Ryu Funayuku, Akira McKenzie, Riku Lin, both Yuki and Taki Kim-Win in a 6-man elimination to determine once and for all who takes the gold. The Women's WWE Championship will also be on the line tonight as Sora Lynn Johnson, the one who turned her back on her best friend, has to defend against the very same friend she stabbed in the back, Liv Elliott, who coincidentally won the first ever Women's World Legacy Tournament just to get a shot at this title. Add in the #1 contender, Dallas St. Andrews, into the mix, and you have a recipe for a bombastic match. Originally a tables, ladders, and chairs match, Cammy Ryan decided that there must be a decisive winner and changed that match very recently to a triple threat steel cage match. No escape necessary because only pinfall and submission is good in this match. Who has what it takes to go the distance? We'll find out later tonight. And a grudge match for the ages as TJ Johnson gets his wish to go one-on-one with his older brother Constantine, who has been a complete thorn in his side for months, costing him big wins and his sanity. It's retribution in order for TJ Johnson. We find that out later tonight. That big fight field championship match of the night will have to go to the World Heavyweight Championship match, where the 49th champion, Jack Verona, defends the gold against the winner of the World Legacy Tournament 8, Eddie Gutierrez, in what's sure to be an absolute show stealer. These two men have gone through their rigors and have come out the other side to meet each other for the first time ever. Jack Verona has been on a massive streak of wins as of late, and it continues to reign dominant as the current 49th World Heavyweight Champion. This is the first major championship run he has been on, and he has beaten all comers, including the Avalon brothers, just to even get a shot at the World Heavyweight title, and winning it in the same night by defeating Constantine, who was then the champion. He's defeated TJ Johnson and Constantine again, respectively, coming away with wins there too. But it wasn't until that third match of the World Legacy Tournament, where anything could happen, that business picked up in a big, big way. And so now, game, set, match. Jack Verona defends the 3CW World Heavyweight Championship against Eddie Gutierrez Jr. One fall to the finish. Who will walk away with their head and championship held high? Who will leave Santa Clara as the World Heavyweight Champion? It's not too late to tune in to End of Days X, going live in just a few minutes here on M3TV. Make sure you hit subscribe and the M3TV page to continue to access great content and ring that bell to stay notified about all things 3CW. 3CW End of Days X will be a complete spectacle and is completely free. Take advantage of this right now by leaving a like and hitting that subscribe button. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's the main event. As Inception, led by Logan McGuire Johnson, takes on the Forefathers, helmed by Austin St. Andrews, in a 6-man tag team elimination match. And as we saw at 3CW World Warfare, per order of J.D. Taylor, the losing team has to disband immediately, which means this is for all or nothing for both teams. They have been embroiled in a straight-out war for months now, with the real story seeming to be Logan's slight obsession with fighting Austin St. Andrews. It's put him at odds with his team for sure. Miles Van Dusen and Terrence I.O.V. Greco are razor sharp heading into this, and Logan doesn't seem to have his head in the game. He is truly going to need to get focused to take on the Forefathers of 3CW. Austin and Logan have had history with each other going all the way back 3 years to Warrior Showcase 7, where they fought for the first time ever in a dream match. The whole faction war came about just from Austin and Logan employing the help of their friends, respectively, Ricky Avalon, Ryan Carter, Miles Van Dusen, Terrence I.O.V. Greco from WWA fame. They're all in it together, and they're all going to go to war. We've seen them deal with each other respectively. We've seen tag team wars. We've seen parking lot brawls. We've seen assaults on rampways. We've seen it all here, folks, and it comes to a head once and for all in just a few minutes. We can expect a hell of a night here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and the action is just about to get started, so strap in. Head on over to M3TV to get subscribed right now. The end of days is upon us. This has been Marcus Johnson. See you soon and enjoy the show.